Good evening. It's Sunday night and time once again for the look back at week 5, the look ahead at week 6, and a general review of where we are at this stage in the course. So let me start with the week 5 to week 6 transition. Last week we spent a lot of time working with the whole idea of the environment in which your business is operating. And we talked about the conditions under which you find in your environment, such as what we refer to as the pest analysis, right? The political, economic, social, and technological realities that any business faces. How do you cope with them? How do you grow with them? How do you respond to them? And worked that into a discussion of, does the stage of development of your business, maturity, if you will, does that affect how you develop and execute your strategy? What does that do to you? Does it allow you to be, as one of the Baldrige principles would have us be, agile? Or does it constrain us? Or do we find out that we have to apply our agility in order to work within certain constraints? That was very important in week 5. And coming out of week 5, we go into week 6, where we now start to talk about little things of decision making, but also some organizational structures. And one of the real prime things we'll talk about this week, both in the text material and what you'll see, is the whole idea, you've probably heard of it before, the idea of vertical integration and horizontal integration. What is that all about? And a lot of that really boils down to is, how does an organization set itself up to control the factors of production, or to control its resources? A vertically integrated operation tends to own and operate and control everything. Okay, we own the source of supply, we own the source of manufacturing, we own the source of marketing, we do everything ourselves. A horizontally integrated company, those are the ones that outsource. They bring in things from other sources. They will have multiple suppliers. They will have multiple channels of distribution. They will contract with others. They don't own and absolutely control what's going on. Are they more flexible? Perhaps. Do they have a wider range of resources? Perhaps. Do they have lesser control? Of course. So in looking at those, you can see how you set yourself up and how you are set up leads to how you do business. And it actually can reach back into last week when you started talking about what were the factors that your business operated in. So that's kind of the leap forward between the two. The other one that I really want people to read this week is the article on what's called wicked problems. All right. And you'll see that the conclusions in that article are very interesting. Because a wicked problem, according to that, the article that you're going to read, maybe it doesn't have a solution. Maybe the solution to a wicked problem is merely the identification of another problem. But it's almost like in your casework, where the factory burns down and you are just left with almost nothing physically. But resource-wise, I think you're starting to recognize as you do the project, you had a lot of other things available to you. You may have more than you realized, or you just may have a different problem. So before you really do anything, I really want you to read that article and then sit back and think about it for a bit, because I think it's one that we all can learn from. All right, I mentioned the project, and you saw from my announcement this week and my email. Being brutally honest with myself and with all of us, some of the groups have gotten off to a great start, some have been painfully slow. And now we're sitting here in week 6 of an 8-week course, so it means we have 3 weeks left to go. And we're expecting to produce a good quality project, a good quality case study, solution, this consulting report, just as you've been asked to go on. And it's really time to crank it up, and that's really the best way I can say it. Now, you've all got the same kind of resources and everything, and this week we're going to do one of those breakout sessions like you did before, except this week, really read the instructions to the breakout session. Remember, this is to discuss how your project is going to be done and how your group has been doing it. So this week we're talking about resources. Okay, the breakout section should really be confined to that. You're not You're talking about your project, you're not really doing it. All right. You're talking about, in the second part of the breakout session, how you've been doing your project. Okay, two separate things. Really read those instructions carefully. The main group discussion board is where you should actually be out there working with each other and building the project. That's where we've got to see what's going on. That allows me to see what's going on. That allows us all to participate. That's what we need to do. So it's pretty much that simple. Read the instructions for the breakout, keep working on the project in the group, and understanding that just in 3 weeks from now, you're going to be turning in this massive thing that we've been working on, hopefully for 8 weeks. And some groups have, and some, like I just said, are really just getting going. Unfortunately, that's not that typical. And as I said in my announcement, the problem is it's so typical of so many of us. Look, I do it all the time. I'm a great procrastinator. And when I look back and see the quality of work I could have done if I had worked ahead and worked at the right pace, I kick myself. All right? So I understand what goes on. Partly because I understand that's what makes me keep prodding at everybody to get it done. So that's what I really need us to do this week. Okay? Please, when we put something together like this, take a minute to watch the video. Take a minute to read the announcement. Take a minute to read the instructions. Learn from the people you're working with. This is the whole idea. And I think the discussions frankly, are great. This course, this section, this class has done really well with the discussion board. I really couldn't be happier. The project, like I said, I've been fits and starts. I've been disappointed in some. I've been very happy with others. So that's not atypical. All right, I'm just trying to be honest with everybody. Let you all know where things are coming from. I have gotten a lot of questions on the Ask the Professor discussion. That's the place to go. I know as we get closer to the end, there'll probably be more questions, so I'll be answering them more readily and more quickly. Remember, that's the place to ask questions that you don't mind everyone hearing the answer to. I did get a couple where there were some, I got back to you individually because it really wasn't appropriate for me to answer that question in front of the whole class. And I just want you to keep that in mind as you use that board as we get to the end of the project. Okay, so again, project work is starting to take paramount importance. Read the instructions for the breakout discussion. Continue to build your project in the group discussion board. Continue to participate in the discussions we have been having in the weekly coursework. The Baldrige work is very good. Keep those principles in mind. And really, really this week, read the Wicked Problems essay. Okay? Thanks very much.